Hey, Chala, nice to meet you. How are you?
Good to see you again. It was wonderful to have you on my show, and now here we are on yours.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the podcast episode that we did, and so you kindly said that you come onto my video show, so which is great.
Yeah.
So it's this Piscari Insights video series, which is going down very well with my audience. So let's just start off with who are you, Chala? Just tell people who you are and what you do.
I'm just a Canadian blonde woman, some strange, crazy woman who talks about marketing. Chala Dincoy, CEO and founder of the Repositioning Expert, and I fix messages that are coming out of the mouth of CEOs and their teams so that they can get into more sales meetings.
Brilliant. And we've got some. This is going to be a really fun session. I've been looking forward to this kind of all
Yeah.
week because, as the audience will find out, this is going to be a live session that we're going to do. But just before we get
Yeah.
into the kind of live coaching part, just talk about elevator pitches. What are they? Why are they so important? And remind our audience about, how should people refine and craft their elevator pitches?
The elevator pitch is really the tip of all of your marketing strategy. When somebody, you know that I have an actual podcast called Polish My
Yeah,
Pitch. It's 5 minutes
I
and
do.
people come on the show. And so when they show up, and I don't mean to put you on the edge here, but and it's really like a very, very, very bad elevator pitch, which means
Yeah,
it's generic or it's really, really long or it's unfocused or it's not pain based or it's mostly about them, and instead of their prospect. It really shows me that they don't have it all together in the background of,
yeah,
the under the, I call it the tip of the iceberg. So under the water is where all of your communication and and some of your business strategy lies. So that's what it tells me is like the tip is your elevator pitch. So that is the first point of contact for a lot of people. Now, elevator
yeah.
pitches are being used in different contexts online. You have to reach out, and what Mike and I were talking about before, what you and I were talking about is online on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
how we're reaching out with
exactly.
just, tweetable messages. And you don't have to be
Yeah,
tweeting, but even on email or voicemail, it has to hook people. So that's why it's so
exactly.
important.
And it's really hard, isn't it, Charles? I mean, wow, like you, I've been in kind of sales and leadership roles for years, and it takes a long time to refine that pitch because it's got to really resonate with your audience, and it's really hard to kind of like hone it down, which is what your skill is.
Yeah. So remember when I was working in the large corporations, the Pepsi, Pizza Hut, Frito Lay
Yeah,
for 18 years, most of the time I spent saying no to new suppliers. I want
of
to know
course.
what percentage of new suppliers you met did you say no to?
Oh,
I'm
wow,
curious.
90%.
See? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And
easily
it all
90%. Yeah,
yeah, it all started with their pitch. And whether
yeah,
it was an elevator pitch or an actual pitch, it was not differentiated. It was not it was not fulfilling a pain point that I had. Most of the time it missed the mark so badly on whatever I was
exactly.
struggling with because they weren't a specialist in my need. They
Yeah,
weren't a specialist in my industry or in my field. So that's where people start wrong, is that they don't specialize.
absolutely. And we talked about before when I was on your podcast, and we talked offline. Yeah, that kind of inch wide and a mile deep. And,
Yes,
and it's a good
exactly.
analogy.
Yeah,
You
I
need to be
love
the
that.
specialist of specialists.
Exactly, which is what you and I do.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and we kind of niche down and niche down and niche down until we're the go-to
Yeah.
people for our particular problem statements, which I think is so important these
Exactly.
days.
Exactly. And so the trick is to marry up where that demand is in the market,
Yeah,
and then to get in front of them and to communicate it to them. And when you're very focused on the industry and you are really well versed in their problems, then it's not an
yeah,
issue because industries self gather by themselves, even during the
they do.
pandemic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that I always think, meeting people like yourself, I really enjoy our discussions. We've had several over the last kind of few weeks and months because there's a kind of like we operate in similar spaces, we
Yeah.
operate in similar ways, and we've had kind of
Yeah.
like often quite similar but different experiences. And I think one of the things that people find hard is to turn business down. I know as a long-time consultant,
Yeah.
you know, when I started in some of the big consulting firms and you said, well, what problem do we solve? one of the answers that came back with was pretty much anything, because the firms were so big. You know, I mean, like if you're 300,000 people globally, sure, you can solve most big problems, but people like us and people that are, you know, smaller businesses, you know, kind of between, you know, it could be one person, it could be up to 100 people. You need to be able to solve specific problems and also say to a client, I don't do that. I know someone that does, but I don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, to
Turning
your
down
point,
business is hard.
yeah, but even when I used to work for those large corporations, we all had, you know, experts in every different area. So, you know, like even our products, make, we would, you know, that's how I learned how to do segmentation. That's how I learned how to do positioning, because you have to take a product that I'm launching and I have to make it different than all the other variants on the same shelf or nearby shelves so that it doesn't cannibalize the sales. So that's, I mean, they taught me the game, so they know not to say we do everything. We're for everyone. We're not for everyone, and we don't do everything.
Absolutely right. So at that point, I think it's probably a good time to get into our live coaching session. So so I was talking to you before this recording. We always have a view before about what the questions might be, and you said, "Why don't we do a live coaching session?" And I thought, what a brilliant idea! That'd be excellent. So I'm looking forward to it. So kind of in many ways, over to you about how we're going to run this bit, and let's see where it gets. Let's see what happens.
Do you know what? So many successful business owners like you turn me down to do that. You know that? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why would they turn down the opportunity to talk to an expert about refining their pitch? That's crazy.
It's interesting. Why? Because they say, I don't need it, or I'm doing fine, thanks, or you know what I mean? So it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
I'm a lifelong learner. So I'm always learning.
My hat's off to you. You're successful and you're still learning. So that's good. That's really great. Okay. So the formula is, for the discussion itself, just for this, exercise, I want you to pick an industry. Just pick one industry that you'd like to double or triple your business in. Do you have that in mind?
Yep. I've got one in mind. Yep.
Okay. Now I want you to take their problem that you solve, and let's fake or make up, or you can look it up later, a pain statistic around it. So what would be the pain? So what's the industry?
Industry is marketing agencies.
Okay. And what would be the pain?
So one of their pain points is when small to medium-sized agencies accelerate their growth, they start to meet big companies like you in Pepsi. Mm-hmm. And when you're pitching to a Pepsi, the big problem they have is they have no problem pitching to the CMO and winning hearts and minds. But to win the deal, they meet people like me, procurement people. And deals often fall over, or they get so heavily discounted, you get the kind of the winner's curse. You know, look what you've won. And so they end up winning deals that aren't profitable, aren't good for the business. Or they just lose the deal because they don't understand how to negotiate with a economic buyer rather than the kind of functional or creative buyer.
Okay. So do you think, which one is most prevalent and more expensive? Can't close, or what did you call it? The loser's win?
The winner's curse.
The winner's curse. I love. Is that British? Winner's curse. All right.
I'm writing an article on it at the moment.
I love it. I love it. Is the winner's curse the bigger and most expensive, more prevalent and expensive, or is it that they can't close?
I think it's the winner's curse.
All right.
And I know that because of a piece of data. If you look across all marketing agencies in Europe, say, certainly in the UK and probably in Europe, and maybe globally, what you find is their net margins are relatively low.
Okay.
And that kind of tells me that they're probably negotiating deals where there's scope creep, they're over-servicing, they're trying to deliver amazing results for big brands like Pepsi, and to do that, you have to go way above and beyond what you'll get paid for.
Okay. So, and you help them at the procurement stage, or do you continue? Is it like a continual relationship where you're keeping them in line so that scope
Mine
creep
is
doesn't happen?
typically when they're negotiating at the very end of the sales cycle, when they meet
Uh-huh.
procurement, I do two things. I train them before they ever meet them, so that if you meet
Okay.
this person, this is what they look like, and this is how you negotiate with them. And then where they've got that problem, I help them with deal support. So I help them negotiate the deals.
So do you go into the meeting?
No, I normally coach from the
Okay.
background.
Got it. Okay.
Occasionally I'll go
So,
in, but normally it's from
okay.
the background.
Okay. I love it. Okay. So if it's the winner's curse, let's put a statistic around the pain for marketing agencies. Did you know that marketing agencies have 70% lower margin when they sell to tier one corporations versus the rest of their business? Or is that the pain,
Yeah,
or is it that is that the pain? Did I get it?
I think it's something like that. Yes. Yeah.
So that we could position it that way, or we could position it just overall. Did you know that marketing agencies, 3 out of 4 deals closed with large tier one corporations lose money?
Yeah,
Something like that, right?
exactly.
So
So they
so
either
then,
lose money or you run fast to stand still. You take on more
okay.
people to deliver this service, but you don't make any more money. So yeah, that's
What
definitely the
is
problem.
what can we make it scarier? Is there a
Yeah,
consequence that we can make it scarier? Something like, I don't know, I'm making it up, 3 out of 4 marketing agencies go bankrupt because of because their deals with tier one corporations don't make
I
no
mean,
money, bleed money.
interesting. I'll research that afterwards. That'd be
I
quite. I
wonder.
might
I
even.
made it up.
Yeah.
It
No,
may
no,
not be
no.
true. May not
But
be
that's a
true.
great angle to look at. Is I wonder
Yeah.
how many go bust. Where they go bust, Charla, is it's working capital stretch, payment terms. What
Yeah.
happens
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah.
your treasury inside Pepsi say will pay you on
Yeah.
90 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
An agency goes from $1 million turnover to $2 million turnover because it's $1 million account. So you've won
Yeah.
this big account, but you're on 90-day terms and you just run out of cash.
Okay, well, if that is the majority and you could find a statistic around it. Now, if you can't find an actual statistic, what I do is I talk to 10 clients or 10 people in the industry who are in that position, or who, random 10 people that
It's a
I
good idea.
know, and then
Yeah,
ask them, how many times has this happened to you, or how many times have you heard of this happening in the industry? And then sort of protract that from there. And then you could say that it's anecdotal. Like, you don't
exactly.
have to,
I can
source it.
extrapolate. That's a
Yeah,
great idea.
exactly. So
Because I've been
if
trying to
that
work
is,
out how to quantify the pain. This is great. Because
yes,
I've been trying
yes,
to work
yes,
out how to quantify that pain. Yeah.
yeah. So I always like to do, like, what is the so what? So then, like, if they're losing money, yeah, that's bad. But if there's a bigger pain, which is like going out of business, even better. The reason why I say that is that we take it to the ultimate worst
Yeah.
case. And in fact, if there is something newsworthy that has happened around the pain in the recent history or news, we quote that. So that, to give you the formula then, is we figure out who you're
Yeah.
targeting, the industry, then the problem that you solved, and then make it sound really, really, really bad. Take it to
Really
its,
scary.
yeah, really scariest level. Put a statistic around it so that it's believable and that
Yeah.
it positions you as an expert, and they don't feel like they're a loser because everyone's in that same boat. And
Yeah.
then the rest of your pitch is, well, what we do is we both train you to negotiate with procurement, and in the negotiation, give you actual coaching to close the deal so that it is always profitable and never allows for scope creep,
I love it.
whatever. Yeah. And that's it. That's it. You've
But
been
Charlotte, that's
polished.
great.
Okay.
No, 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 it's really good.
Yeah,
Because
but
the
it's
bit that I've
it's
been
simple,
missing
right?
is
Yeah.
I've not been pinning a statistic to the
Mm,
size of the problem
yes. And
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 making it
when
scary enough.
Yes, yeah. And then what happens is you can even once you figure out like the key words, so like winner's curse, I don't know if you made that up, but or the whatever, however they talk about it. So part of the process of when I work with clients is we ask the client what is the pain, and then we capture their pain sound bites, and
Yeah.
we literally name programs and processes around the pain sound bite.
Right.
So like,
Okay.
like the easy button for Staples, like there's no actual human that runs and gets your orders when you press that button, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's that device, it's that gimmick, it's that marketing thing. So that's why we use their words as the device for a process, because only experts have processes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
so these
Yes.
are some of the ways that we differentiate a business, and these are some of the ways that we message what they do way more precisely than what they usually say, which is one, they talk about a lot of different things they're doing. Yours is very specific, so that's great. But then to frame it in their worst nightmare is
Yeah.
where they'll be like, I need to talk to you.
And I
The,
like
the,
the
the
idea of if you can't find the data online,
yeah,
well, I've got loads of agency clients. I'll just
yes,
ask 10 of them the same
exactly.
question
Yes.
with a data point, get them to
Yeah.
range it. I just did a
Yeah.
survey on LinkedIn for
Oh, yeah.
about increasing headcount, which is
Okay.
like which agencies in the next 12 months are going to increase headcount by 25%, 50% or more. And
Yeah.
you get some data. And that
That's
data
fabulous.
feeds your argument.
So then, some of the things that you could be doing with this, see what I mean by an elevator pitch being the backbone of your marketing strategy is you could start
Yeah,
to form, let's say, an executive roundtable for just
yeah,
the agencies, agency owners, whatever agency teams. And then the topic is literally their pain soundbite of,
yeah,
3 out of 4 agencies going out of business. And then you can
yeah.
have products and then collateral and you name it. You can have a button
I could have a button.
like Staples.
I could send them a phone with my number on it and just one button.
I love it.
It's the bat
That is
phone.
great. That's great. I know. They have it for kids, right? They have the
Yeah,
simplified children's cell phone. So it
you
could
hit
be
the phone.
yours.
It could be
Exactly.
mine. I just send it in the post. It just arrives.
Oh my God. I know. It's so funny. Well, you know what? Sampling is going to be probably under fire now with the pandemic, because I remember lots of
Yeah.
clients used to have like, send stress balls or brains or,
Yes.
like stuff like that. And like, mind you, I'm still sending brownies. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Who knows?
But
I
I
could
mean,
try it.
yeah, exactly.
So,
So
Charla,
you've
that's been
been
great.
published. Yeah.
Really, really great. Thank you. And I've now got some
You're
homework to go
welcome.
off and do, which is brilliant. So,
Yeah.
Charla, for the audience that we've got, where can they find out more about you?
So I'd love to offer a gift. And you know that I have a book
Brilliant.
called Gentle Marketing, not just because I'm Canadian and we're nice, but gentle marketing is really just clarifying your message so people run after you instead of you running after them. So you can go to repositioner.com/gift and you will find the book and an opportunity to connect with me.
Brilliant. Charla, that's brilliant. Thank you. And thank you ever so much for being part of this series. I've really enjoyed it. Very, very
Me
practical and
too.
very insightful. Thank you.
You're welcome.